We are in the final stage of this threshold, but depends on where you are in life, determines on where you are in this final stage. Right? And as I'm saying this, it is coming out of a dream. And it was said, I literally was saying it in the dream, feeling the guidance through me or over me, however you want to say it, as someone was, I wouldn't say complaining, but someone was speaking on how they have been feeling in these recent times. And it's been feeling like a tug of war, like a up and down, like something that is oscillating. Those of you who are experiencing the fourth dimension in time, yes, we are oscillating, right? And some of you may feel this push and pull, this tug of war as you are crossing the dimensional timelines, because you're leaving behind something, you're going towards something else. It's like you're at the land in between, like one of my cards that I pull, and it's like you're being pulled between each sides, right, on either end, and you're feeling the finishing up of something, but there's still a tug of war there. It could be an emotional tie, so there has to be some emotional deposits, some emotional detachments. This is why the sacral chakra was very, very important, and it's very focused on through my chakra infusions in this workshop. The sacral chakra is the one that is a heavy focus, because it is where we need to have our emotional release, right? It is helping us with the calibration of the nervous system, because the nervous system has to calibrate these emotions that you are feeling through the nerves, right? So it could present this tug of war back and forth. What the message that I got as I was giving it, it was coming through me, and because of where I am in the experience of it, and I confirmed and said, yes, we're in the final stages, and it is because you're at the peak. So for people who are at the peak in this final stage in their lives, as the winds just picked up, they're feeling this real, like, tight, oscillating tug of war kind of. And for those of us, for me, when I was telling her in the dream was, well, for me, I'm on the slope, right? So where you may be at the peak, I'm on the steep. I'm coming down the steep. So it feels a little bit loosened, a little bit relaxed, so to speak, of coming into this final age. And I was able, or stage, I was able to confirm for her that, yes, that's what's happening. We're in this final stage, but you're at the peak of it, so you're feeling it very tight. The more you work on whatever it is you're working on, particularly in the emotional mental body, then you loosen the grip or the tightness of what's happening at the peak, and you begin to feel coming down the steep and the slope of it. And that's the part where most of us who have really been doing the hard work, excavating the soul, doing the shadow work and things like that, we're more feeling like we're coming at down from it. So it's hard to explain what it exactly is, but it's a tug of war within the soul. It's a tug of war, but there is no war, because in the wisdom of the Mars energy, the maturation of Mars energy, that third eye atlas has updated. It's study war no more. It's having the wisdom to study war no more. And as you can hear that plane, it's like, let it fly over. Let it fly over. It's study war no more. And the maturation of Venus is that understanding, right? And is it today? I believe Venus just moved into Aries. Might have been right about now, right? And we've also had a Jupiter trine with Cancer. So with in Cancer, sorry, a Sun trine with Jupiter in Cancer. So there's this um, activation being brought to the light, being brought to the outer world of Jupiter's destination in Cancer, and the emotional body. So this is helping a lot of us to kind of feel. A lot of us may be feeling this in the families, particularly the maternal families, being that Jupiter is in Cancer, and that is the nurturer, the mother, emotions. So we're feeling a lot of that in the bodies of water, so to speak. And so, speaking of bodies of water, as we talk about doomsday and coming to, well, I'm bringing it up now, the doomsday fish that have been coming ashore, and we're at this culminates, and I just saw this today. And it added to the message that I was getting in my dream about the final stages. And they were showing the doomsday fish. They're very long. They almost look like snakes in the water that were showing up on the ocean. They're oar fish, but they call them doomsday oar fish. Um, because they come from really in the depths of the water, and for some reason they're washing up ashores. And it said that when they do, it's usually before there's a major earthquake, and they have evidence that showed every time that has happened, including the Kamchatka one that we had last year. So this one is showing up in California, and it was two fish. So it's kind of the message I was getting out of that is, as we're at these final stages, what else is a final stage? Pisces. Pisces is two fish, and it really was two fish fluttering on the shore. And so that doomsday fish is also, not that it's bringing doom and gloom, but it is a warning as well, letting us know, because the reason why it's called doomsday is because once they come to the surface, they can't survive. They're from the depths of the ocean, like one of the real deep, dark abyss of the ocean. So when they come to the surface, they can't survive long. So it's doomsday for them, but it's also a signal to us that something cataclysmic or something major is happening that could be doomsday for us as well. Right, so it's also that type of warning. But what I'm getting cosmically or energetically in the message of it all, being that Pisces is the end, and what is now shifting out of Pisces, we already had Neptune and Saturn exit Pisces, enter on this was on the 20th, right? And I believe when they saw these fish, it was around the 20th, on the day of the 20th. And that is when Neptune and Saturn came to 0 degrees at Aries. They had just left Pisces, the final stage, the final, hoorah age, the doomsday, like the fish coming out of the depths of the waters. And so it's doomsday for those fish. It's doomsday for those things that we have been carrying that no longer serve us, from the depths, right? They equal the depths. So the depths of our spirit, the dimensional depths of our spirit, those karmic ties, these were an opportunity to bring doomsday to those karmic imprints in the soul, so to speak, the karmic traumas that have been on the imprint of the soul deep in the dimensions of our soul. So when it has been brought to the surface or brought to the light, and I believe when this happened on the 20th, speaking of being brought to the light, this would have been when the sun had just entered Pisces. So the sun brings it to the surface. The sun brings it to the outer world, which is bringing it to our surface. So it's kind of explaining all of that final stages, doomsday to the old things that no longer serve us. And that's what we're feeling, some of us, in that oscillating. So depending on where you are, if you're at the peak, get to the steep, get to the down, the down sloping on the steep, right? So that it can feel like it's more at ease. So look into it, see it for yourself. But the doomsday is doomsday fish showing up on shore. It's really letting us know we're at the final stages and the ages, and not even just with those planets, but also all of the planets moving through Pisces, coming through the final stage, or the final it's the final house of the let's say, I call it the cosmic calendar, right? They call it the astrological calendar. It's the cosmic, it's the truth of time, and it is our final month in the year as we begin the new year on the spring equinox. So all of these planets, Venus just left, Mercury, after it comes out of retrograde, is going to be following behind. Mars, and I said falling for a reason. So Mercury in retrograde, some things are going to be falling, as it too is taking us into the depths of our dimensional souls, right? To retrospect and get some things out, traveling, dimensional traveling, right? But it's going to be following along, and so too is Mars. And so all of our personal planets are going to be shifting over to Aries. So again, closing out Pisces, those two fish, doomsday fish, bringing it to the surface, letting us know there's going to be some ground shaking, earthquaking, major events in our life, world, and affairs. So prepare for that, and know that if you're on the peak, get to the down slope, steep. So continue to work it out as your soul's complete. Peace, love, and light.